having made things so clear to you, let me now deliver the message that the Lord gave me. Many of you have heard me talk about the National Prayer and Thanksgiving service on many occasions. And I keep telling you, since inception, that it's a covenant over the nation. By the grace of God, not to bother you with the beginning of any issue or this matter. We fought, we pushed, the president alluded to it. Those who shared the information with the president misinformed him. Mr. President John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, respectfully make it a campaign promise that when it comes, there will be a National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving service, and it's going to be yearly. When I heard it, those who are communicated with by giving them this information, and for your information, any issue about the National Prayer and Thanksgiving service did not come from anybody. It came from me. It is an instruction God gave, not today. It was a covenant over the nation since the days of late President John Evans Atta Mills. I am the very servant of God who delivered the message to Mills. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Fast forward. The men of today who carries this message, they got it from me. I did not share with them the detailed information because it's not for their hearing. I seek the opportunity with them that they should make me meet the president, because it's the president that the Lord wants to give the message to, just as he did to Mills. With lack of understanding, they have misinformed Mr. President. The right thing that Mr. President is supposed to say as this covenant is concerned to the nation, he has misinformed the nation. Yes, somebody will say, Apostle, this is a sensitive matter. Why don't you go and talk to the president? Please, if this is the first time you are hearing me, you have thought right, but thought wrong. Everybody who follows me know this matter. We have tried everything possible. People closer to the president, we have tried to talk to them. Because of the warning that the Lord has given me concerning this matter, I'm going to mention names. Concerning the issue of the National Prayer and Thanksgiving service, when I was making the effort for the right thing to be done, after delivering the message through these people, one, the man called Dr. Callistus Mahama, he was the administrative manager of Mahama's campaign office those time before the election. Through him, I channel over every document, some of the document in connection to this matter, and I related things with him. Then I share information also to Elvis Efriye Ankara. Also, I share the information with him. After the elections, I discussed with them, I sent message to them that, as I explained, that there are more things for the president to know. So please create the chance for me to meet him so that I'll hand over the whole information to him. If it's today, they'll talk to me. I don't know. When all things were looking difficult to achieve that goal, I tried to push it. I contacted, or somebody gave me the numbers of one, the current chief of staff, Julius Debra, respectfully. I chatted with him. The understanding was not coming because to them, there is a man who's supposed to take care of this matter. So I should discuss with that man. Try as I may to explain to them that I am doing that, but they are not listening. They are still not understanding. I had to send them strong message to make them wake up. That made them close their doors to me. They were not doing me anything. They were fighting the counsel of God. Then from there, someone also gave me the number of the vice president of this nation. You know her already. I called her during the time, I think it was during the time of the transition, the period of transition. She gave me the audience. I was explaining to her that this is a situation. The National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service is a covenant over the nation. If Mr. President do not get it right, the nation will go back in suffering again. In talking to her, she also never understood me. She instructed me that I should go back and deal with those who I was dealing with during the time of the inception, and also that she had no preview of what I'm talking about. That means she has no knowledge about any issue of National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service. Her response to me gave me a concern. I said, Jesus, we are doomed. Because Mr. President is supposed to get the full information. The Vice President is supposed to know. It is a message that Mr. President have to share with the nation. And the nation as a whole is supposed to follow that instruction as a covenant over the nation is concerned. So it got me worried. So I respectfully respond to her, okay, I hear you, ma. At my age, I'm over 50 years. Looking at her age, she can give birth to me. So I can refer to her as ma. Respectfully. From there, I tried every other source I know, including nieces of Mr. President John Dramani Mahama. Copy them, few messages that could create the opportunity for me to deliver the full message to Mr. President. I was not doing it to be famous. I was doing it to save the nation. Because every one of them shut their door at my face. And I keep reminding Mr. President that you winning the election, it is not because of the prophecy of anybody. In making things right, when the prophet Hubert Angel came out talking, even him, I sent him a strong message. Not to disrespect my brother, but for him to know that you are meddling in an issue that you don't have understanding about. That passed. I think that matter later somebody copied me, that somebody posted it even on GH Media. Now, today's message. Mr. President John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, I address you with the utmost respect, because that's what the Bible instructs me. It will be my wish and my will that some of the things I'm about to say, I could tell you straightforward, one-on-one. But all the people around you who I consulted, I mean close people to you, then they are back. I don't know what is their problem. So today, I'm bringing to you the warning that the Lord is giving. Because once again, you are going to walk in disobedience. just as you did when you took over the term of late President John Evans Atta Mills, in connection to the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service as the covenant over this nation is concerned. Those time also, I made the effort to come to you when you started operating a Jubilee House. The same thing was done. They shut the door to me. This same thing is repeating itself again. When I say to me, I don't mean me as me, but to the message of the Lord about the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service. I repeat it again. As I said before, Mr. President, the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service is not a campaign promise. Respectfully, it is not you who is promising a national day of thanksgiving. Please, it is a covenant over the nation. The men who are talking to you don't understand it. I have tried with them, but they do not give a lesson here. So first of all, Mr. President, respectfully, please understand this today, that the issue of the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service is a covenant over the nation, Ghana. Please, it is not a campaign promise that you promised. It is a matter of a covenant over the nation. A covenant that God entered with the nation in continuous with the late President John Evans Atta Mills to take Ghana out of a situation and to reset the foundation of this nation. So before you started using the word reset the nation, it was part of the prophetic word of covenant of God over the nation that we're announcing before you start using it. You start using it because there was a spiritual synergy. So your spirit caught the message. This covenant has a role, the major role to play as the resetting of the foundation of this nation is concerned. Your inability to know the truth and get the truth and walk in it is about to affect the nation once again. I repeat, your inability to find out the truth or be misinformed is about to affect the nation again. So, Mr. President, this message is not a social media whip. It is the truth. And if you find this very piercing or unacceptable, please, it's not my fault. We all want the nation to do well. Before I bring you the warning that the Lord is giving, I want you to know there are elderly women who love this nation, who pray for this nation, who spoke to me, who keep contacting me and keep praying that, Apostle, don't give up on this matter. Some are 70, 80, and they love this nation. Some are outside the country, they are in the diaspora, they love this nation. Some of them trying to help me bring the message to you some of them are the executives of the NDC political party in the diaspora. So, Mr. President, what is amazing me is what the Lord showed me when the warning came. And I want to read this scripture to help in understanding. Ezekiel chapter 11 from verse 1. Then the Spirit of the Lord lifted me up and brought me to the east gate of the Lord's house, which faces eastward. And there at the door of the gate were 25 men, among whom I saw Jazaniah the son of Azul, and Pelatiah the son of Benaniah, princes of the people. And he said to me, Son of man, these are the men who devise iniquity and give wicked counsel in the city. Unquote. I was amazed when the Lord showed me that there are men who are intentionally, the Lord showed them to me. And one of the statements that they were making that funnied me, but to their own detriment, is that if he is sent by God, then God should tell him. People are very funny. There are people who are intentionally made up their mind, and they have crafted their own versions and ways to handle this matter. And that's what they are feeding the president. And they're making it look like I am making noise. They shouldn't mind me. By the way, I was not interested for anybody to mind me. My interest is to share the word of the message of the Lord. My interest is to tell the nation and the people to know the truth of God as this covenant is concerned. I have no interest in myself. So the word of the Lord came. In the covenant of God, as the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service is concerned, the first rule is being broken again. And that's where the warning is coming from. The first instruction is being broken again. And that's where the warning is coming from. According to the instructions of the Lord, the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service supposed to be held or must be held. The president don't have the audacity to change the instruction in the covenant. Neither do anybody have the right to change the instructions in the covenant. The instruction was, and it still is, that every quarter, the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service must be held. Every quarter. The instruction the president gave on the first day that he held meeting with the clergy, he said, he alluded that yearly there will be a national day of prayer and thanksgiving service, and that he will set a committee that they will decide how it will be handled. On that very day, I got to know that the president got it all wrong. That was not the instruction of God. And again, Mr. President, it is not a campaign message. It is not a promise for you to make as a campaign message that you need to fulfill. It's a covenant. Is a covenant that was there. You are not the one who made the covenant. It is respectfully, I'm not saying it to taunt you, I'm saying it as the fact that it's a covenant over the nation. the misconception that is happening today did happen when you were fulfilling the second tenure of the late President John Ivasata Mills. That was the reason why getting to, I think, the second year of your governance, things begin to go bad. Because you never understood and you never knew it was a covenant over the nation. So the same mistake that is being committed today, you handed over everything in the hands of the church that they should do it. That's how come the whole thing died. And in so doing, the warning came that you should correct that. And as I said, we did everything possible to bring you to that place, of understanding, but you never got the chance to know. Mr. President, I continue to say this because we want to save the nation, and it's because I personally stick my neck out in the presence of my father, in the media, in most places when men of God that today are making a claim that they stood for you as your administrator in your office, the campaign office. I was the man of God who first of all stick my neck out, going from radio station to radio station. In the beginning, I was paying for the airtime myself because it was an assignment God gave me concerning the nation. And that God has said he has chosen you to accomplish his counsel. I was invited to other shows, even on the show of Mami Grace, Revelation, and I spoke about you and this mission. Because it was an assignment. So I am not saying this to disgrace anybody. I'm mentioning it because these people are doing this favor to the nation and they are not helping you, Mr. President. Dr. Callistus Mahama got angry with me because of the dangers I was seeing around you during that time, and I was telling it to him. And every radio station I go to, I copy him. Everything that was done. This man got angry with me and was giving me warning that if I've seen any danger around Mr. President John Dramani Mahama, that time he wasn't the president, the candidate, I should go to the police and go and report it. That was the responses he gave to me. In trying to make him understand, because listen, I'm not a child. I've been doing this work for a very long time. He addressed me with disrespect and trying to make him know that, listen, if you have been given an opportunity to serve the man Mahama, you are there for a reason. And that day I told him that if he made the mistake and anything happened to you, Mr. President, now president, then candidate, he should have himself blamed for anything that happened to you. But I say nothing happened because we keep on praying and interceding because it's an assignment. Before also Bempa and all these people come out respectfully, I'm not touching anybody. I'm just trying to let you know the severity of this issue. Before they do the turnaround, we're boldly announcing it. Even on one of the stations I went to, there were some communicators of another political party who even wanted to fight my team that I went to. They even gave me warnings, death threats. I told Dr. Callistus Mahama about it. Then he said, Apostle, don't mind them. They cannot do anything to you. To create the chance for us to let the president know the truth of this whole covenant. These people serving their own interests and self-respect try to create the impression as if I've done something wrong. But just because they were trying to defend their own belief, not that we are saying something wrong. Now, Mr. President, this is the warning that is coming. The first service was supposed to be held after you are swearing in. The instruction of God is the service is supposed to be held at the Independence Square. That was the instruction and is the instruction. It is not you people choosing wherever you want. No. There is a reason why God instructed that it should be held at the Independence Square. Because the man who is leading all these things want to prove something to themselves and never gave me the opportunity for us to have the proper talk to explain to me, to Mr. President. They were doing their own things. On that day, I even posted the poster and I wrote, they are busy doing the wrong thing. The second one, which is the first quarter, the end of this month of March, so it be the second national prayer and thanksgiving service that's supposed to be held. When I received the warning message, I tried to find out if there have been an announcement that by the end of this quarter there will be the service. And all the people are consulted say no, they have not heard any announcement as such. Then I realized, oh, okay, that's the reason why God was sending me the warning message to the Mr. President and the nation. And we don't want what happened during your tenure, respectfully, Mr. President, during your second term, when you're fulfilling late President Evans Atamil's tenure, you know what happened. All Ghanaians know, and that's why we were voting out of power. That is about to repeat itself. You people should believe it or don't believe it. If the writing is not done, today is 29th. If this quarter passes by, that is the warning. If this quarter passes by, the first disobedience has been done. This is the second one. If it is not done, Mr. President, we have seen a lot of good things go on to do through you. We have spoken about it. Other prophets have spoken about it. But Mr. President, the table will turn around against you. I am not prophesying against the nation or against you. I am telling you the warning the Father is giving. Upon all the good things he has said and your obedience in alluding to the obeying of the restoration of the covenant over the nation, since it's not done right. Number two, the man has decided to twist the instructions and the covenant of God. The Lord wants to show you, Mr. President, that nobody can change his instructions. So, Mr. President, if the obedience is not complete, this is the second time that the national prayer and thanksgiving service is not held by the close of this month. This is the instruction and the warning of God to you, Mr. President. What you experienced when you were serving the second term of the late President John Evans Atta Mills, it will happen again. I repeat, the way things went when you were serving the second tenure of the late President John Evans Atta Mills, may so rest in perfect peace, will repeat itself again. I tried to plead before the Lord, and the Lord said, my boy, I told you everything about this covenant and why I have chosen Ghana. And I say, yes, Lord, I will deliver your message as you want me to deliver it. Mr. President, this issue of this covenant seal, the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service, it goes beyond Ghana. It's a seal of choosing of the nation Ghana to serve as a pinnacle of hope to nations as we are. There are things the Lord wants to do, and the obedience to this covenant is what will propel the manifestations of all these things. So the disobedience to this matter is not a joke. It is not a child play. It's a serious issue. Mr. President, with humility and respect to the seat of Ghana and to your person, please, you have been misled, misinformed. You have walked in first disobedience. That is the holding of the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service. It's supposed to be held at the Independence Square. Please, that is not what was done. That was the first disobedience. The second disobedience is that it's supposed to be held every quarter, not yearly. Please, Mr. President, it is not your campaign promise. It's a covenant over the nation. With all humility, our nations need to be saved, and our nation need to stand. God has prepared you to fulfill his account, but it's connected to his covenant. That was the reason why you won the election. I repeat to you again humbly, you do not win the election because of the ingenuity, prophetic direction of any prophet. I keep repeating it. It is your obedience when you said on Mahama meet the clergy, when you did the first allusion, when you were in Ho, you mentioned it in Ho. Immediately, those who I was communicating with over this matter, they called me and said the president has done it. I was not watching, because I did not even know that something was like that was going on. So when I watched the video and I called the person, I said, no, that is not the instruction of God. Then he said, we will do everything possible for Mr. President to obey. Then when you meet the clergy, you met the clergy, you alluded to it. Then I said, good. He has gotten the first step. Then those who are communicating from your office and outside of office also sent me a message that the president has done. The expression is, he has done it. And I said, we thank God he will win the election. And indeed, he won the election. It's not a secret. But in continuity, this is where the problem is coming. So, Mr. President, The warning of the Lord is that if this disobedience continue, as the close of this month of March, which the second national prayer and thanksgiving service supposed to be held, is not done, there will be a repetition of an old experience. That is, he said, what happened when you took over the tenure of President Mills, may so rest in perfect peace, and you lay aside the national prayer and thanksgiving service, the mishappenings that took place will start again. And all the good things he said he will do through you, you will not experience it. And you know what that means? How Ghanaians are going to rise up against you. Mark it everywhere. Everyone watching. That is going to happen. The second warning is going to all the men of God that is around the president and all you, the team, who have sat down and intentionally depriving the president to come to the place of truth as this covenant is concerned. Of course, the Lord showed me, you people are using this message to make name for yourselves. I saw it all, but it is not me. So some of the things I saw, I do not want to talk about it. It will make like I have interest. So I don't say any of those things. But this is the warning to you. If you want to understand the warning, read the book of Ezekiel. That's why I quoted the scripture. The book of Ezekiel chapter 11 from verse 1. Go and read it to 7 and see what happened to the men who sat and took counsel and was given an ill advice to the people. The third warning, you the prophets who quickly want to come out and flex your muscles, that you are anointed locally or internationally, hear the warning of the Lord, because this matter is a covenant over a nation, not a proof of a ministry. If you rise up and misbehave, the graces upon you will dry up. That is the warning of the Lord. Let me digress. The reason why this prophet called Jonah, when God sent him to Nineveh, he did not want to go, is because many times when God sent him, when God sends him and the people repent, God don't punish the nations. So he feels like if God don't punish the people, but the message is sent to him, they'll feel he's a false prophet. So that's why when God was sending him again to Nineveh, he did not want to go. Just as by the Spirit of God I said before the elections, when God was giving the warning to the prophets that be careful, don't take that step. And I came out to say it. I remember vividly that day, the Spirit of the Lord said that, let those who don't believe, let them try it and see what will happen. And it happened to them. Not because we are anointed at anybody. No, please, so I am not anointed at anybody. Please, so I am not above anybody. Me, what God sent me to do, that's what I am doing. Finito. I am not comparing myself to anybody. Even though I have more than 30 years experience in the work of God, I am not comparing myself to anybody. Please, don't tag me in anything. If you tag me, you are making me popular. Do that for me. That is just by the way. So that is a warning to the prophets also. These are the warnings of the Lord. Ghanaians, my fellow Ghanaians, don't you think we need to save our nation? You know what we experienced during the time of President Mahama, during the time he was serving under Mills terms. You know what you experience? Do you want to experience the same thing again? Certainly not. That time it was due to one thing: disobedience. Disobedience. And it's the same thing that is repeating itself now. My prayer is that God will show us mercy, but I just have to bring the information as Father instructed me. So I have played my part. I have informed you, Mr. President, and all the people around you, that the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service, what is being done to it is an error. It's wrong. They are not following the instructions. They don't know the truth about it. All we wanted in the past is to give Mr. President the whole truth, the document. I have it. For him to obey so that Ghana will become great. That is all. That is all. After all, how much, if let's say you will give him money, how much money can you give me that would do? How much money? It is just that we want our nation to come to the place that God wants it to be. That is all. That is all. I have brought the warning. I'm done with my work. God, the rest is in his hands. And to your information, with all respect, all the people who stand with me when we are doing our homeland Ghana, I am announcing today, I am stopping it. I'm not going to continue until I see the president and the nation do the right thing. Then we'll continue with the covenant prayer as the homeland Ghana is concerned. So, Mr. President, you have the chance. Today is 29th. How many days for the month? I think it's 2 days, right? Organize the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Service. It's supposed to be done at the Independence Square, not in any hall anywhere. That is the instruction. It is my will and my desire to submit to you, both in hard copy, and explain to you what needs to be done. Please, I am not interested in meeting any person, whatever position you have. Enough of your disrespect.